think for me, what makes me strive for the best for my clients, and again, whether they're friends, whether a referral, family members, it's putting it into perspective of how would I want my parents or my brother be treated if they were working with somebody else. It doesn't matter the dollar amount. I've got clients right now that are looking for $300,000 condos or $3.5 million house in cash. The dollar amount really doesn't matter because, we didn't grow up with a ton. And, I hated the idea of people I knew growing up thinking less of me or my family because we weren't rich or wealthy. That's not fair, right? We're born to these situations. We have, those bumps in the road in our lives, whatever it is. Or you might have that, golden spoon and life is good, but whatever it is, I really always, when I work with someone new or, a repeat client, it's how would I want someone to treat my family?
Yeah.
People that I love most, they deserve my time, my respect, my everything.
Hi everyone, welcome to All In with Jim DeMarco. And today I'm so grateful to welcome our first guest, Henry Shim with Windermere Midtown. And Henry's a good friend and one of the best agents in the marketplace today. And we're so grateful to have him here in our segment of talking about All In and what makes him special and what he does for his clients and his business. So Henry, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, I don't want to go and steal all your thunder, but I've known you for a long time. And like I said, just what you do is so incredible and how you build relationships. So I'm really excited to have you here. But tell me a little bit about yourself for those that may not know you and how you got in the business and what's going on.
Yeah. We've, Jimmy and I have known each other, better part of a decade?
Over a decade now.
Yeah, gosh, over a decade, how time flies. So I've been in the business. I'm a UW grad, go Dogs. And, I got to say a little side thing. Desmond, what are you doing, man? Come on, bro. But
that is part of this. That is part of this interview is that we're going to kind of go in all different directions here, guys. So stay tuned because we've got some fun questions for Henry here as we go along. And it's not going to be your typical kind of boring rehashed interview. I really want to have a little bit of fun here. So yeah, Henry, he's the perfect candidate for that. So
yeah, I'm the guinea pig for this, and I'm excited for it. It's always nice to talk with friends and to get into this kind of setting. But my background is I'm a Seattleite. I've lived in Washington basically 99% of my life, and again, local. Grew up north in Briar, and after graduating from college, I ended up getting into commercial real estate. That was 22 plus years ago. So definitely put my time in, did that for a few years, and it was fun. It was one of those things where it was the old school way of work, which was just dialing for dollars, making cold calls, handwriting letters, doing the grunt work to find clientele. And it was great. I met some incredible people, people that I'm still friends with now, still people I work with. But when the market tanked in that 07, 08 range, I needed to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And mom and dad and big brother said, you gave it the good old try, and it's time for a real job, a 9-to-5, get some benefits, insurance, maybe some RSUs before RSUs were a thing. And So got in the business, and it's just like, what do I do?
So you shifted to residential after that, sort of.
Yeah, and so I wanted to stay in the business. My brother even said, hey, I can get you an entry level job at a tech company, get your feet wet, and go that route. But I loved real estate, and I wasn't ready to leave it. And so I partnered up with a friend of mine and started remodeling homes, and that really taught me a lot about real estate, residential real estate. And so as that started to happen, doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, my name started getting out there in my circle of friends.
So you would remodel and then maybe sell them or
sell them or rent. Yeah.
Cool.
So we'd flip them, we'd keep them. But as that was happening, I was learning so much more about the industry, the business, that friends of mine, especially from college, I was a Greek system guy from UW. I was a SIGEP.
And when he says was, he still is.
I still am.
When you go out with Henry, all of that will resurface. So warning to those of you that may want to go out to enjoy a happy hour with the guy, it turns into hours, but we'll talk about that some other time. So yeah.
very, very happy hours. But started doing that, and then just real organically.
Yeah.
And I to this day feel so fortunate about how my business has developed over the last 2+ decades.
Yeah.
I literally have the best job in the world because I get to work with friends. I get to work with family, and I get to work with their friends and family and their coworkers. And so it's been very organic. I think it's been now 2 years officially where I have a website. Akash, my business partner.
And if you know Henry, to get him to do anything type of marketing or promotional wise, it was pretty inexistent for a long time. So
yeah,
credit to him for helping to kind of take his business to a different level there.
Yeah, and it was definitely one of those things where I never wanted to be a pushy sales guy. I never asked for business. It just again came organically to me, and so I love it. I still to this day love it, and if I didn't have kids, a wife, family, I would work every single day from, sun up to sundown, because it's just so much fun.
Yeah, and that's going to be one of the topics we'll get to, because in our industry, trying to find a work-life balance, it's a big part of it, and it's a big challenge. So this guy, as you're starting to hear and learn, that the whole theme of this is all in. And what I can say from knowing Henry and a lot of the top agents in the marketplace is they are all in this business. So sharing some of that, and that pivot you made from commercial to residential, and seeing your business sort of just organically grow just because of who you are and the connections you've made. Do you feel like there was a mindset shift as well, and that kind of really helped to firm that up to say, you know what? This is what I'm doing. Even though you had a brother that may have some tech connections, and a lot of us here in Seattle think that might be the best way to go, you decided to go all in on real estate. Is there something that kind of, was there an experience or a time or a story that maybe kind of helped get that shift really to make it firm?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to have a boring blanket answer, but it goes back to the gratitude I had when people trusted me. It's a scenario where I think it's 98% of the population, buying a home is the largest purchase of their life. Unless you're buying companies or giant apartment buildings or commercial real estate, typically what you buy, the most expensive thing is your home. It's for you, your family, an investment, whatever it is. But the gratitude that I got for every transaction, for every sale, and it's not even a transaction. It's such a, that word is like, it's so deliberate. And, it was the opportunity for me to help people that I care about and love find that home where, hey, I'm getting married. Hey, I'm having kids. Hey, my parents need to sell this because they need to retire. They're going to move out of state, whatever it was. And so that really resonated with me. It was the feeling and that aha moment of not only is it, financially rewarding, it's more so, for my soul to be able to be a part of that. Because I'm always connected with that friend, that client, that family member of, hey, we bought this home with Henry. And I hear that they have, they had a kid or 2 kids in there, or hey, this or that happened, and these, wild experiences of during their homeownership. And again, I think that's probably, again, the generic answer, which to me is kind of the core of what I do and why I do it, is being a part of that process.
And that's a good segue into, one of the topics and questions we have on this show is really, you have an innate ability to create a client for life. And anybody that knows Henry, either in the business or outside the business, to be successful and to be one of the top professionals in your field, it requires you to truly get into a deep relationship with your clients. And is there something you can point to that in the process or working with clients, because it is a journey. I mean, the mortgage side of it, our side of it is we're there for the financing, but to get there, you got to find the house, and you guys are part of that extensive process. Is there something you can kind of point to or think of that your clients really connect with you on that helped to really solidify that, other than being up at 3 a.m. responding to emails? There's just something that you can think, Henry, is what kind of makes you different with that and what's shown that success?
I think for me, what makes me strive for the best for my clients, and again, whether they're friends, whether a referral, family members, it's putting it into perspective of how would I want my parents or my brother to be treated if they were working with somebody else. It doesn't matter the dollar amount. I've got clients right now that are looking for $300,000, condos or $3.5 million house in cash. The dollar amount really doesn't matter because, we didn't grow up with a ton. And, I hated the idea of like people I knew growing up thinking less of me or my family because we weren't rich or wealthy. That's not fair, right? We're born to these situations. We have, those bumps in the road in our lives, whatever it is. Or you might have that, golden spoon and life is good, but whatever it is, I really always, when I work with someone new or, a repeat client, it's how would I want someone to treat my family? The people that I love most, like they deserve my time, my respect, my everything. And so I think that's how my business has grown organically and over the last 2 decades, where that has never shifted. That has always been my goal of like, how would I...
Whether you close 2 homes or 20, every client is treated as if that experience is like you're working with family.
Yeah, they're all equals, right? They're letting me in their door. They're letting me into their family, their situation, where most people will never get into that window. They never get to see that. And so when I get an opportunity to hear the stories, the good and the bad and the ugly, it's because they trust me. And for me to break that trust and not look out for their best interest, that would be wrong. That would be unethical. That wouldn't be, how I'd want to be treated or my friends and family to be treated in different scenarios. And
and it speaks to your character. I think anybody who reaches the level of success that you're in, whether it be having humble beginnings or whether you've had a fortunate life, if you maintain the character and be true to yourself, it resonates, and I think people can sense that. I mean, your clients are going to say, he's in this for me. He's all in to make sure that my experience is unique. It's personalized. So, and then that just is how you're able to build organically your business, is to be authentic, is to be real, and people can sense that. Especially even in this day and age when so much is out there that can be manufactured or manipulated. Being real in our industry, I think, is such an important and powerful tool we have. So credit to you for maintaining that even through your success and with every client. Where do you, all these great things you're doing, where do you think you struggle the most, Henry? Like what, and I know the answer to this because I know Henry and I know a lot of folks in our industry and our business, we have certain struggles, but I wanted to kind of get an idea, what do you think, what are some of your biggest struggles you think that you have?
I think one of my biggest struggles, and there's many, it's time management, right? I've got 2 beautiful kids, Theo and Edie, an amazing wife, phenomenal parents. My brother is my biggest role model, and oftentimes I don't want to say you have to choose work or family, but certain things need to get done in a timely fashion. And
I knew Henry before kids and a wife, and even then he would have struggles because he's constantly on, right? But now it just has changed as we have families and our lives change. So it's the same but different, right? It feels like it's, you've got to focus priorities, and that's probably where, folks like Henry that are always attentive to their clients can find that struggle can be real, right? Because you want to always be there.
Yeah, I mean, that's 100% accurate. It's, do you be late to a class for your kids or a sporting event to get that one last email out, to show that one last home? And, they all mesh together because by me working, I'm allowed and I'm able to provide my family with things that they need or want.
Yeah.
But what they want from me is time. What they want is for me to be present.
Right?
And so, thank God for my wife and all she takes on, and how she, spearheads our family. Thank God for my parents and my brother, that any chance they get, they'll spend time with their kids and with me. And so again, I think even at am I 44, 43, 44? I think I'm 44 this year. But thank God I have the people and the support around me to allow me to excel. Career-wise, and I mean.
Well, I think part of it too is that Henry, just like you mentioned earlier, is that his clients are like family. And so when you're trying to allocate time to family, there becomes sort of this meshing, as you put it, where you've got family and you got clients that you treat as family. So that's where, just from a standpoint of, what do we look at in our business? How do we help? And what I think is really special about Henry or anybody who's got this kind of success is you don't feel it on the other end. Right. So, I mean, I think your clients are always going to feel as if they're number one, which is the most important thing, I think. If you'd agree, kind of how you're able to make that feeling happen with a client, that they're like, gosh, this guy's a busy guy, but I still feel like I'm a priority. So.
Yeah, I mean, the home buying process is such a personal experience. I've been so fortunate where I've heard like life-changing moments for my clients, my friends, where they're like, hey, my girlfriend doesn't know this, but I'm gonna ask her to marry me. Hey, my parents don't know that we're pregnant and we need a bigger space. And again, it's people opening their doors to allow me to be a part of this process. And so I always try to respond to emails or text messages, 15 minutes or less. Even if I say, I'm busy right now, I'm at an appointment, I'm doing something, but I'll get back to you.
Setting some sort of expectation.
And
absolutely.
And that in the early part of my career, probably the first 15 years, there was no expectation. I would drop everything and anything to help a client because I had to, because I wanted to. That's what I was hired to do. I think now with a family, it's more of a delicate process where, again, they're still my priority, my client, but at times you have to take a step back. And I candidly, I tell my clients before, I have a schedule that I need to keep. I wake up with my kids every morning between 6:30 and 7 o'clock. I feed them, I get them changed, I get them ready for school. And then, when my kids come back from daycare, between 4 and 8 o'clock, 4:30 to 8:30 roughly, I'm a parent. I'll still answer emails. If we have to go look at a place at that time because you're going on vacation tomorrow, whatever it is, I'll still make that work. But in a perfect world, if you're okay with it later in the evening or earlier in the day or on the weekend, whatever it might be, I set those expectations from the get-go, so I don't have to blur the lines.
And that's kind of one of the questions we ask here is how do you balance, your own time with your sanity? And credit to Henry for finding that balance, because knowing him as long as I have, there was a time where you didn't have any balance, and therefore your sanity was also impacted. So as much as you still may struggle with this, I think it's important for all of us, especially those of us that struggle with the same, is to recognize and to actually be aware that you have improved in that. And so just like you said, trying to create some time blocks, and your clients know and they respect that. But at the same time, we're flexible. So credit for already kind of jumping ahead and answering a couple of those questions, because it is an important part of our business. And so as we talk with top agents like yourself, it's trying to understand, hey, how do you balance this so that you're meeting your clients' expectations, you're delivering the service levels you want, but also recognizing that you only have a certain amount of time and you have a family and your own life. So good for you, man. It's tough. I know it's still working at it, but considering he sent me an email at 3 a.m. So, but that being said, let's kind of shift a little bit into, and thank you for sharing all that. I think it really kind of speaks to, who you are as a person and a professional, and those that may want to work with Henry, or, these are the kind of things you want to get to with this type of process and this really in-depth decision of buying a home. So thanks for sharing. What about, with today's market, kind of going into more of a market conversation, where it's evolving, it's competitive. We were just talking about how we're seeing multiple offers coming back up. So it's really a funky market in time. How do you handle clients' expectations? Sometimes they might be unrealistic. Is there a process, or are you kind of like, is it different from person to person? What do you do with people that come to you and say, I want to sell my house for $2 million, and you're like, I don't think we're going to get $2 million. So what do you do in these cases where you've got to work and manage expectations for clients?
So real quickly, Jimmy tried to send me these questions so I could prep, and I hate prep work because I want it to be organic.
Yes.
This is a phenomenal question.
Oh, thank you.
I actually love this question a lot. And again, I would say in the early part of my career, it's chase every deal. It doesn't matter if it's overpriced, if it's unrealistic, the timing's bad, whatever the market conditions are. You just wanted that deal. I wanted my name on a listing. I wanted to write a purchase and sale agreement and go through those steps so I feel like I'm actually working, whatever that is. I think probably in the last 7+ years where I feel like I've made it as a real estate broker, right?
Yes, there's some truth to that, yes.
Now it's, people don't need the fluff.
Yeah.
People don't need to hear what they want to hear because everyone is a yes man. Everyone is a yes woman because they want that deal. What I've learned and what I, put into my work now is be realistic, be honest. Let's cut the fat out. Because if you're telling me your $1 million house you want to sell for $3 million, that's not reality. You want to sell for $2 million, that's not reality. You want to sell for $1 million, that's not reality. There's no point in you working with me because I already know that I can't sell that home for you. Yeah, I can't do what you want me to do. So it's a disservice to you and it's a disservice to me. You might find someone that's a young agent, a newer agent that says whatever it is, like I was when I was younger in the industry, to just like, yes, 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 yes.
Or we'll try this. And, we'll see how it works. And then 60 days later,
price reduction. Yeah, price reduction. That's just not reality. And so for me now, in terms of being efficient, in terms of being a professional, it's let's be black and white. Yeah. Let's be transparent. Let's cut the fat out and get to what the bottom line is of what you want and what I think it's worth, what I can do, what you can do, and set that realistic expectation. If those two, if you and I don't jive in that regard, then we probably shouldn't work together.
It's a certain level of establishing trust, right? Yeah. So is there something you attribute to your expertise that allows you, or is there something you use, or what gives you the confidence in knowing what those expectations are, so that when your clients are talking to you about what they think and what they want, you're able to bring it to a place that is more realistic to the market based off of what? I mean, is there something you kind of point to there?
I mean,
other than just being awesome at what you do?
Thank you. Yeah. It's experience.
Yeah.
It's 22 years in the industry. It's 500+ sales. It's going and seeing the big, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful.
Knowing the market too, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, if every person deserves a chance in their career. It could be real estate, it could be something different. It doesn't matter. Everyone deserves a chance, but when you work with someone that has the experience, the wherewithal, it provides a perspective that you as a consumer, you as a client don't have. Because you're, an IT guy, you're a chef, you're a teacher, you're whatever your occupation, what your career is, you're great at that. I think I'm great at what I do. And so again, it's to help get you to where you need to be faster and setting those realistic expectations. And that's all from those 22 years in the business. That's all from all those deals. And, I've written and, I've sold 500 homes. I mean, gosh, I wish I could remember how many deals I didn't get. Because I bet you it's 3x that, right?
Well, and on that note, is there a story or a time that you had to take a risk for a client, or that you said, you know what, I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try it? I'm sure you got countless examples of that, whether it be the way you structure a contract or negotiate, but is there anything that kind of stands out to you where you might be a little bit more risky, or something that you feel like you're trying to do that might set you apart from others that you feel confident kind of taking that leap of faith on?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think what's top of mind is anytime I take a listing on. I want my client, whether it's a friend, whether it's a repeat client, whether it's a referral, to make the most money possible. And what I have done over these last 2 decades, and more so in the past, 10 years, give or take, is I invest my money into the home, whether that's, remodeling the kitchen, changing out the carpet, putting a new roof on, whatever it is.
So you're able to give the vision of what
Yeah.
it could be rather than what it is today.
Yeah. Because again, I've gone through that. I've remodeled 26 of my own homes, and I know where they add value.
He knows everybody and everybody when it comes to cabinets, countertops, flooring. I mean, this guy, that's one of the great things and advantages of working with top real estate professionals and Henry, is because not only are they going to be there to provide you the expertise and advice for the home you're buying, but their wealth of resources and knowledge as it relates to everything else that you might be interested in when you buy a home. So that's where I can kind of see that being a part of your confidence level, is you're able to envision and see the future of what this home might look like, or how this market is changing, or the neighborhood. So I know that firsthand, but I think that's a good share, because I don't think people always go into the process thinking about, they have an idea of what their house is and what they want, but sometimes that's not realistic, or it doesn't exist. So you've got to be able to.
There's that value add dynamic, whether you're on the buying side of it and you're like, okay, this house is the location I love, but it's a 2-bed, 1-bath. I need a 4-bed, 2-bath minimum, 2 showers, kids, whatever it is. Can we make that a reality?
Yeah.
Let me walk you through the home and say, okay, well, it's knob and tube wiring. It's, galvanized plumbing. You're going to spend $40K right there alone.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a 3-tab roof and it's on its last legs. Well, how do you know? Well, the shingles are curling up, the granules are off.
And he walks through houses without sneakers on or shoes.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. You'll know the leveling of the floor, because this guy, he's got his own little way in which to look. So as a buyer's agent, Henry's got his own process that I think really speaks to why his clients trust him when they make that decision. And then when you list, you're trying to set expectations for how do you maximize the seller's return while at the same time being realistic, so it moves according to the timeline that your sellers are expecting. So it's both sides of it. You've got some great processes in place.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter even if it's, if in a market like today right now where there's limited inventory, having a cleaner home, whether it's updates or just, new carpet, new paint, stuff like that, buyers want that. Buyers want turnkey. And so you do that to hopefully get more people through the door and multiple offers. In a down market, you do that because you don't want to be the home that sits on the market for 60 days, 80 days, 100 days, and you're paying, a mortgage on a vacant home. You've got to go through those steps and look at the market conditions and say, can I make more money? Can I sell quicker?
Yeah.
What do I need to do to stand apart? Because you could have 10 homes in the development all for sale that are basically cookie cutter and the same.
Yeah.
Can you change this home to make it stand out? And so again, every market's a little bit different, timing's different.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So tell me, what are you seeing in the market today? It's January 2026, we're new year, lots of volatility, lots of topics about the economy and different conditions that are being impacted on our side of things, interest rates, what ifs, what's going on. But just to kind of break it down into your market here in Seattle, Henry, having known somebody that like yourself that has a real in-tuned touch of what's going on, what are you seeing? What are you thinking? What's your opinion about what's going on in the market right now?
So 2026 is off to a very fast start. You can say historically Q1, this is for everyone, whether you work with me or not, if you're selling a home, Q1, January, put your home on the market. There is a backlog of buyers from Q3 of last year and Q4 because, in Q4, so the winter months, the only time you actually see homes for the most part come on the market is death, divorce, and job relocation. The best and the cream of the crop homes don't come on the market because people are enjoying the holidays. They're traveling for Christmas. They're
Yeah, and we've talked about that over, during the October to December time period where like, look, that's an opportunity for buyers. I mean, if you find a home that might be sitting for a month or two,
yeah.
you got to kind of, when you work with someone like Henry, you're going to say what the house looks like today, but what are the opportunities you get? So now you're saying it's shifting a little bit back into the pendulum of, hey, the sellers, more inventory. So how do you think that relates to buyers out there trying to navigate this environment?
So right now, I mean, if you're a buyer, you missed your window to get values and deals. The great homes still in December actually got in the bidding wars. I saw some great homes that, for one reason or another, my clients didn't want to make an offer on.
Yeah.
They still got in the bidding wars. But some of my clients that bought homes December, November, they got home runs. And so because everyone's like, what's happening with the economy? What's happening with layoffs? What's happening with war? What's happening with whatever the reason is, there's a lot of timidness in the market. And so the people that jumped into that market found some value out there. And so what I'm seeing in January is a buyer pool that says, okay, we're ready.
Yeah.
You get it no matter what. January, you get your people that were looking last year that didn't find a home they wanted. And then you see all the people, new year, new me, new home. So you have that dynamic, limited amount of inventory.
Yeah.
For all these pent-up buyers. Again, for the whole, numbers wise of homes that are listed, it's a lot smaller, but your buyer pool ratio wise is bigger. And so a limited number of homes and active, hungry buyers.
And we try to talk about that in both the lending and the real estate space about the relationship of the market as it relates to more inventory, more buyers, less inventory. I mean, there's not really, in our opinion, a perfect time. I mean, we think there's opportune time, but what do you say to people that might say, geez, I missed the window. I'm just going to sit on the sidelines for the next 6 months and wait until October comes again or November. What would you say to folks that might be sitting there thinking, gosh, shoulda, woulda, coulda, and now we're starting to see a little bit more of a frenzied activity with all offers and list prices? What do you say to those folks?
So the market is cyclical, right? There's obviously things that can happen. It could be a natural disaster, it could be a war, it could be economics, whatever it is. But again, let's go through a rough calendar. January bidding wars, right? Limited inventory, bigger buyer pool. Come into March, you see the next spike of more inventory coming on.
Yeah.
And then again, April, May, it's okay. May, you actually, for single family homes, you see an uptick in inventory. That May rush of new inventory, buyers jump at it, bidding wars. People are like, we need to buy a home. We were looking for the last 3-4 months. Then you come to July, August. If you're looking for a single family home, a lot of families go on vacation during that time because it's summer break.
Yep.
Right? And so you see homes at the end of July, August sit on the market. And now, again, you're like, this is actually the perfect time to buy because there's a lot of inventory and buyers are taking a break. And then you go back into that cycle, September.
When do you think is the right time for a prospective buyer to engage you, to basically say, hey, I'm looking, I'm interested, here's what I'm budgeting for. Is there a time you feel like that's right for them to start that conversation with you and to start to kind of figure out the market, what's going on? Is there anything that you kind of think of that would help?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, because you're going to learn as you go about what's out there, what the properties looks like. So it helps give you more.
Yeah, and it's not a sales pitch like, come talk to me now so I can, have a client in my pipeline. It's the reality is, this November, December, I think I had 12 or 13 buyers reach out to me. People that were past clients and a lot of new referrals and people trying to get into their first home. And I told all of them, you're not going to see anything good on the market. If you do, it's going to be a unicorn. It's going to get bid up. But what I want you to do is call me, to email me and text me to say, hey, this is the neighborhood I like, or this is the style of house home I like. It's not what I want. I want more turnkey, or I want a rehab project, or whatever it is. But let's go look at.
The more information you get, the better you're able to sort of serve what their goals are.
You got to educate them.
Yeah.
You got to educate them. And then the other part of that too is, I've had people right now that are like, hey, I want to buy in the summer.
Yeah.
I'm saving up some money, timing-wise, whatever it is. If we look at during the summer and you see a home and it's the first, second, fifth home you see, you're like, I love this home, but I haven't seen enough. It's that timidness.
Well, I can kind of speak to that too personally, where my wife and I, she was, I think, 7 or 8 months pregnant at this time. And we had found a home in a neighborhood, put an offer in, and it was, of course, escalated. This is a few years back. But we ultimately pulled out and said, okay, we're going to just throw in the towel. Disappointed, of course, you kind of go through that process of grieving, I guess, when it comes to trying to buy a home and sometimes feeling like you missed the one. And then like a month later, another home in the same neighborhood popped up. And so had I not started that process, had I not been all in on working with an agent like Henry, that's like, hey, here's what we're going to do. We had a plan in place. We knew exactly how to strategize it. We were prepared in advance. So we were able to go in, and sure enough, we won and we found the house, and it wasn't perfect, but it was better than perfect. It was enough for us to say, we can do this to the kitchen, we can do this to the floors. And with Henry's help, we were able to make it our own. So I think that's it's a great advice to give folks, is that you get in when you're ready and get early into the process, because you're going to learn as you go, and just Henry's going to be able to learn as he goes as well.
Yeah.
So great, man. Kind of shifting a little bit more gears here. As the market evolves, as things go on, is there anything that your partners in the business, whether it be lending, other agents, is there something that you could say that helps make it easier or harder for you to be all in with your clients? Because at the end of the day, having a high performing professional like Henry is, you have a standard, you have a bar that you set, right? I mean, you don't deviate from that throughout the whole process. I mean, do you feel like there's anything that exists in either the partnerships or the people you have to work with throughout the process that help you? Or perhaps maybe that make it harder for you to be all in? Is there anything you can kind of think about with how you set these expectations?
I mean, as a professional, it's having vendors, team members that you trust.
Yeah.
Working with you and Dwayne, working with the inspectors I've used for 2 decades, ever since I've been in the business, working with contractors that have helped me remodel my homes. Having the people around you where you trust them and you can set it and forget it. I would say in the early part of my career, for staging and photos and pre-inspections, the more we list, I was there at every one of them. Again, the whole time management, figuring how I could really help my clients out in person, then instead of wasting time and not being able to help them in that moment. I've shifted and said, okay, well, I don't need to be at a 3-hour pre-inspection.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to be at a photo shoot. I don't need, I'm third media. I don't need to be there to have Jay take videos, right? He can do it on his own because I trust him.
Yeah.
I don't need to babysit Dwayne or Jimmy and say, make sure this loan closes, or Jeff with you guys. It just happens.
Yeah.
And it happens because you believe in the process. It happens because we've had the experiences with each other where, hey, it's not my first rodeo with you. It's not my first listing. It's not my first buyer. I have expectations, meet those expectations. Yeah. Not to be harsh to any of our team and people we're at, but I'm a huge referral source for all of my vendors. Mm-hmm. I think I spent 6 figures on staging last year. I think I've referred 80% of my deals to Dwayne and Jimmy last year. Jay worked on all of my listings.
Yeah, if you need a plumber, an electrician, this guy, he'll respond back with his preferred partners. And
yeah, and you have to have that.
And that's what you need in this business.
You really can't have someone come in and screw something up.
Yeah.
You can't have someone.
It's a reflection of you. Right?
Yeah,
at the end of the day, to be a high-performing producer and to achieve the kind of success Henry and others in his role, you got to have high expectations, trust, relationships, and to be able to make sure that your clients across the board are served to that level of excellence. So credit to you, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I don't get kickbacks for referring out to plumbers or contractors.
Yeah. No, there's no RESPA violations here, folks. So
it's literally because I trust you, because
Exactly.
I trust Jay, because I trust Sarah at Staging for Charisma. It's the people that I've accumulated in my business portfolio. I trust them.
Yeah.
And my clients will trust them because I trust them because they trust me.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's that whole balance of.
And it takes time. I mean, look, folks that are in the business, that are starting the business, like don't give up. You just got to go through the motion of being committed and staying all in on your business, like we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so, sort of moving on to another segment here. One of the last questions I'll have on this topic would be, if you can give yourself advice when you first started.
Ooh.
That you would say is you wish you had known. Is there something you can point to that you wish you would have known, or if you can give yourself an advice 22 years ago, whatever it was when you started, what would it be?
God, that's tough. There's a million things that if I was a new agent, I'd do differently.
Yeah.
I love the journey when I went on. There was a year that I think I made $7,000 after being in commercial real estate. And I was like, I can get on food stamps. I can get Section 8 housing.
Yeah, right.
And it made me work harder. Hopefully it made me work smarter. But I think for me, it's figuring out that time management, figuring out boundaries.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about that, right? I mean, up till about just a few years ago,
yeah,
there was no boundaries. And so you're spiraling and it's hard to maintain. So I think what you're saying is, recognizing that if you do get boundaries, it's not going to hurt your business. It's not going to limit your client's experience because you're sharing that up front. You're setting those expectations, your clients know, and therefore you're able to have a better balance with everything you're doing.
Yeah, because I mean, the last thing you want to do, or I want to do, is disappoint my clients.
Exactly.
Disappoint my vendors, disappoint anyone. And so I think it's a scenario where if you're upfront and honest from the get-go, it cuts all the fat away, like we talked about before. It gets it out of the way. And so I think for me, figuring out how...
Not buying a bunch of property in Queen Anne first in 2010.
Yeah.
That would be an advice I'd give some clients. Don't be afraid. Just buy whatever you can. It's going to go up, right?
And I didn't do that too.
I moved to Seattle and I was like, renting an apartment building that had a fancy kitchen and a media room. And I was like, oh, I'm living in a hotel. And then I started dating my now wife, and she's like, we got to buy something. I was like, I don't know. I'm not really sure. And so again, we all have these moments of looking back and thinking, gosh, woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah.
She's like, that Madison Park house we were looking at, gosh, if we would have bought that. And I was like, I like my fancy apartment building. I'm paying $3,000 a month. But anyways, great. Thanks so much. So here at All In with Jim DeMarco, we like to also have a segment that is a scientifically proven way to help really peel back the layers of who our guest is. Personally, professionally, it's kind of scary, but if you trust the process, we're going to learn a lot about Henry here. And so if you're willing and able and give permission, you don't need to sign a waiver. Are you ready for the All In with Jim DeMarco fast question segment?
Yeah, is this kind of like the hot sauce challenge?
Well, I was going to bring some hot sauce, but no, I'm going to save you that. I don't want to get any type of trademark violation for that or get in trouble legally by doing that. But I think really having something different when we talk to our guests, not just about the market and all the amazing things that Henry shared, getting to know somebody, sometimes it's just as simple as a yes or no question. So I'm excited to kind of go through this with Henry because I know some of these answers, but he's going to have to go right from the gut, quick.
Yeah.
And let's dive into it. Okay.
Let's rock and roll.
So, of course, for those of you who may not know, I'm from Buffalo, and I often say that more than I need to at times.
True.
So the first question
Yeah.
that those who are listening and watching that may know Buffalo people, ranch or blue cheese?
Ranch.
See, he's already failed, so we got to wrap this up quick.
All right, we're out.
Cheese was the correct answer.
What do you mean? I have blue cheese from like Red Robin. I don't.
No.
Buffalo.
You either know the answer or you don't.
Yeah,
it's okay. You didn't fail. Just, I just got to, mark a little note here. Okay, coffee or tea?
Coffee all day.
Okay. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Got that. I know that answer too.
Yeah.
Just got back
I'm
to
gonna
the beach. Okay. Favorite professional sport?
Sports or sports team?
Sports. Hockey, basketball.
Oh God. I love.
Come on.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love football, but baseball.
Got it.
Family affinity.
Again, scientifically proven to understand who this guy is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, follow-up question, are the Seahawks going to the Super Bowl?
They should, as long as they don't screw the pooch.
Okay, should. I don't know if that's a yes or no, but we'll take it.
Yeah,
All right, got it. All right, morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Yeah, well, again, you heard earlier, 3 a.m. emails.
Something.
Handwritten note or a closing gift?
Ooh.
These questions are going to get a little bit harder and more in depth as we go along. So
Closing
let's see how we respond. Okay, closing gift. Craziest negotiation you've pulled off?
A house in Bellevue Terrace, which is kind of Windermere, Laurelhurst area. If you don't know Bellevue Terrace, it was $1,350,000. I literally spent 16 hours negotiating, I want to say 30 or 40 offers that came in on my listing and got it up to $2 million.
Nice. Congrats.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Those are the kind of memories we like, right?
That was a fun one. A lot of work, but that was a fun one.
All right. So most surprising client request that you said yes to.
Most surprising client request.
Like, I want to go see this, or, whatever you might come to mind. Or that you said no to for that. Most surprising client request you might have said no to or yes to.
I don't know if I have anything crazy. I mean, I'm trying to think about this, but people saying that they want to live in Seattle and then they go look at a house in North Bend type of thing. Like geographic location, like we want this, this, and this, but let me go look at this anomaly just to go look at it.
Okay, fair enough. That's good.
Nothing wild.
If you could change one thing about this business, what would it be?
I wish brokers would be more honest. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but everyone's trying to like puff their chest up and say, I'm the biggest, baddest agent out there. Reality is, it's not a popularity game. It's not something where I need to think you're a great agent. I need to know that you have your client's best interest and you know that I have my client's best interest. So it's an equal playing field. And so I think, there's a lot of personas that people think they need to fit too much reality TV, whatever it is. And the reality should be, do what's best for your client, not for you.
Good answer. All right. That might make up for the ranch one.
Okay.
Okay. The biggest risk you've ever taken?
Jeez.
Come on, man. Time's ticking.
I know we're on the clock right now.
Besides going in the real estate after your brother, who is pretty famous technology executive and leader, said I can get you in.
Biggest risk, I mean, I don't
being friends with Dwayne. I guess that's a big one.
It's not a bad way, but just getting married. It's just like,
there you
go. I love it. It's amazing. It's everything I thought it'd be, and then some. But
yeah, I shared that. We were scared.
Yeah.
I had to have my mom talk me out of the ledge. I share that story every time.
Yeah.
So, but it was the best thing that's ever happened to us. I can say that.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
My life is amazing because of it. So.
Yeah. Good job. All right. Couple last ones here. If you had a superpower, what would it be? Again, scientific questionnaire that's going to get to the heart of Henry Shim.
If I had a superpower, I think time traveling would be cool.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Time control?
Time control? Yeah, but if you can control like putting a stop to something, like that's not as cool as going back and seeing stuff, in real time.
Cool. All right, good answer. I can see that, given the theme of Henry's business these days. Okay. And what's one word that would describe your mindset?
Hungry.
Hungry. Yeah. He's driven and hungry.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you, Henry. So as we conclude All In with Jim DeMarco, we always like to ask our guest one final question to really get to the heart of what this is all about in the showcase who you are and how you run your business and how you got to where you are today. So with the last questions, in a sentence or two, if you had to sum up what makes you all in, what would you say?
I'm all in because I want the best for everybody. I think it's just how I've lived my life, and I don't care about being successful for myself. It's for my family. It's for my kids. It's for my wife and parents and my friends. And I think I'm lucky enough to do what I do, where my accolades aren't for me. It's for
It is a sentence or two, but as we started to learn from Henry,
I'm a champion.
that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It was a really good answer, but
Yeah.
you feel free to keep sharing because honestly, folks, like what you get with Henry is real. You get authenticity. You get somebody who is committed. It's what helps make top performers who they are. But yeah, it's pretty impressive what you do. So yeah, being all in, it's like you said, right, man? It's
I mean, you know, I don't want to say the moniker of this this segment, this interview conversation, but I mean, yeah, I'm all in. Like, what a great name for a show. What a great name for a segment. But when it comes to my business, I'm all in for my clients because selfishly, it makes me so happy to see them happy. Like I get that from my clients, and when they get the home or the call or the hug, crying, like, thank you for letting me be a part of it. And you know, we're all in. We got it. We're good. So yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Henry Shim, with your time today, your wisdom, your honesty, and letting us kind of get to know you a little bit better. So until next time, everybody, thank you for joining me for All In with Jim DeMarco, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, Henry.
All right, you bet.